Before you even ask, yes, I chose to get bangs smack dab in the middle of a Mercury retrograde. Hi, this is Andrea Schulman again, and in today's quick video, I wanted to talk about balancing spiritual and physical energy. But first, if you're new to my work, please make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because I do put out new videos like this one every single week. All right, but let's go ahead and get into this topic of balancing spiritual and physical energy. And this is something that I have been working with personally a lot over the last few months. And I've seen myself swing too far to the physical, and I've seen myself swing too far to the spiritual. And understanding kind of the cues as to which one I'm leaning on has always been something really useful in terms of helping me course correct. What I mean by this is in the spiritual community, in the law of attraction community, in the metaphysical community, there is often a very strong emphasis put on spiritual energy and kind of getting yourself more into the spiritual realm. In fact, a lot of people in this community are very anxious to get rid of being on the physical plane, as if it would be better to escape into the ethers than to be here in a physical incarnation. And unfortunately, with that perspective, it causes us a great deal of suffering because we are here on the physical plane and we are spiritual on the physical plane. And this is where we are supposed to be. And if we negate it, if we don't want to be on the physical, if we feel that the physical plane is too low vibration, or that we're going to suffer here, unfortunately what ends up happening is we end up projecting those thoughts on our reality and we end up suffering here in the physical more. While it's all very, very well and good to raise your vibration, raise your consciousness, become more spiritually minded, it's also important to understand that we are here on earth having a physical experience. And just as much as it's a problem in someone's life to become too physically minded and not spiritually minded, it's also problematic to become too spiritually minded and not physically minded. If we just think of this in terms of when everybody says, you know, you want to go with the flow, you want to be in the current of life, I want you to kind of think of it that way, okay? Let's think of it in terms of matter. Think of the physical as a solid. Okay, it's very dense, right? And think of the spiritual as air. Very light, you know, very ethereal. Well, the flow is really smack dab in the middle, in liquid. It's in the melding of the physical and the spiritual. It's not in the divorcing of the spiritual from the physical. It's in the melding of those two. So the sweet spot for manifestation, the sweet spot for living here on planet Earth is to get into that liquid state where you have your denser physical qualities integrated with your ethereal spiritual qualities. And remember, growing in consciousness is all about integration. It's about unity consciousness. It's about accepting all of it. So it's not about jumping to the spiritual or dive bombing to the physical. Rather, it's about a melding of the two of them. That is the sweet spot. That is the flow. So I wanted to mention this because over the last few months, I've seen a swing with myself in both ways. Okay, so a few months ago, we moved. And during that period of time, I got very physically oriented, very much in the orientation of I need to move, I got to pack these boxes, I got to call these people, I got to haul this crap, and really became kind of disconnected in a larger part from my more spiritual side. I became very dominant in the physical realm. And there are some characteristics that I see when I do this that are kind of like alarm bells to me that, okay, you're going a little too far in the solid direction. And for me, I ended up getting sick at one point. It wasn't a major illness, but it was a cold. I ended up getting in a traffic accident, which never happens to me. All right. And a few other little things that were very physical problem oriented. On top of that, I was feeling rather stressed. I was feeling rather frantic. And to me, these are all indications that you're really just too focused in the physical. You're forgetting about the connection. You're forgetting about the higher realms. You're allowing yourself to become too dense. And when you try to move in things that are too dense, you bash into stuff, which causes a lot of problems. So we did some course correction. Started doing more meditation, more naps, more focusing on diving back upward into the spiritual. But I went too far and overshot again, because in doing that, what ended up happening was I almost became dissociated from the physical, meaning I got way too far up in the ethers, wasn't really paying too much attention to the here and now physically. And for me, the triggers for that, when you can tell that you've gone too spiritual, what usually happens to me is I end up becoming rather apathetic. Like, you start to lose your desire to be involved in the physical process. You start to become kind of lazy. Things get kind of hazy. It becomes harder to perform physical tasks because your mind is just up here in the ethers, okay? And so whenever I see those swings, it's always kind of a time to course correct. If you start feeling yourself getting too far up in the clouds, getting that apathetic, kind of hazy feeling that you're not really paying too much attention in the physical realm, it's a really great time to kind of ground back in. Do some physically minded activities. You know, maybe clean up your house or connect with other people. Get yourself put back into the physical world. And you don't have to go like all out, but just start diving back in and let that energy kind of pull you into the more liquid, integrated state. And please do remember, life is a balancing act. Okay, and so when you have major events in your life, like if a baby is born, or if you move, or if you change jobs, sometimes you may see these swings. And this was the first time I'd seen a very pronounced one in a long time, and it was really kind of punctuated by a move. And so I thought it would be a good idea to make a video for you so that if you see yourself swinging in either direction, realize it's not that spiritual is good and physical is bad, or physical is good and spiritual is bad. It's really about a melding of the two. That's how you get in the flow. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video on balancing spiritual and physical energy. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy another video that I made on going with the flow. And I'll try to remember to put a link to that in the description if you'd like to go ahead and watch that video next. Also, if you're new to my work, I would love to invite you to take my Law of Attraction test. It is a test that you can use to show yourself how the law of attraction works in a very fun and exciting kind of way. So if you haven't taken that test yet, again, look in the description. You'll probably see a link to take that test now. Thanks so much for watching today's video on balancing spiritual and physical energy. Have a great day. Bye-bye.